let's slither in right into the week with the eel tank here at the Two Oceans Aquarium. Today we're speaking to Simon. Hi, Simon.
Good morning.
So, we might not be able to see any of them, but they are in here, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about the eels.
Cool. So in this display, we've got a few different types of eels. We've got our honeycomb moray. She's still quite small. She'll grow up to about 2 meters long.
Wow.
We also have, I think, 2 floral eels. You might sometimes be able to pick out the tail of the floral eel. They like to stay quite hidden. Okay. We've also got our zebra eels, and up until recently, we had to send them back up to Durban because they were getting a little big, was our ocellated snake eels. They're really pretty.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned...
And then, sorry, I forgot one more, the geometric eel.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so you mentioned they have different kinds of patterns. Does that have to do anything with the diet or habitat or anything like that?
Yes and no. Some species like to stay hidden and they like to be blended into reefs. They've often got those color patterns on them so that they can blend in.
Okay.
Things like the geometric eels are quite white, but they've got like a dottle pattern on them. They kind of blend into sand a little better. Whereas something like your floral eel is made for a kind of coral reef kind of setting where she can blend into all those colors. And then your honeycomb moray, you look at that pattern, it's that yellow and black honeycomb pattern, and she doesn't quite blend in, but amazingly when you see them on a reef, you don't see them until they're right next to you. It's really quite amazing.
How cool. Okay, so they live generally in reefy sort of areas, you mean?
Yeah, they are very territorial animals. They don't move very far. They're quite slow, and they have quite small territories, and they actually defend those, and they might move between rocks, but as you can see, they like to hide in the rocks, and they like a hole to sit in and just kind of poke their head out.
Okay, so you mentioned that they're territorial, so I'm guessing they live quite solitary lives?
Most of the time. They only ever really come together to breed. Certain species of eels might be a little bit more community, where they can sit in rocks together and be in close spaces, but it's not like they're affectionate or they require each other's company.
Okay. Are they kind of aggressive with each other if they do come close?
They can be. They can be a little territorial and fight and nip at each other, things like that. So we do have to be careful in the tank. We do have to watch all the time, make sure that they're not hassling each other.
Right. So they have quite interesting faces. Some might say it's kind of ugly faces, but what do they exactly use their mouths to eat?
So they are mostly nocturnal hunters, so they hunt at night, and one of their favorite foods, depending on the species, something like the honeycombs moray eel, she prefers octopus, so she'll hunt octopus in holes and she'll grab onto them. Now that pointy nose is designed to be able to go into small spaces and holes and be able to grab food items, but what's amazing is their tooth structure. They've got the usual teeth that you see around the mouth, but what you don't see is a set of pharyngeal teeth, which is your throat teeth. It's where the concept for the Alien movie came from, with the little head burster thing. Where they bite onto something, they hold onto it, and then with the back set of jaws comes forward and tears them up and pulls and chews up the food and pulls it down the throat. So it's not an animal you want to get bitten by. They lock on and then they just shred.
Okay, I see.
Pretty intense.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. Are any of the venomous or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of. I could be wrong. But the species that we handle, we've got a few different varieties. So our honeycomb moray likes the octopus and the squid and hunting fish, but something like the zebra eels actually prefer prawn and crustaceans, and their teeth are designed to be more kind of knobbly for crushing rather than things like that. But venom and venomous, not so much that I know of.
Okay, cool. So you mentioned that they live quite solitary lives and they come together only to mate. Can you tell us a little bit about the breeding and looking after baby eels?
Amazingly, there's not very much known about eels and their breeding. We do know that they go through some larval stages as they're born, and they are generally broadcast spawners. They don't lay eggs or look after any eggs. So they'll swim off to breeding sites. They get together and they migrate off there, and they'll often just spawn into the water, and the eggs are carried by currents. And the babies hatch in each larval stage. And with many fish species and crustacean species, is each larval stage requires a different type of food.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about where you got each of the eels, where the aquarium got them?
I don't know per se as such, but most of our species do come down from Durban. Ushaka do help catch them for us. And we do an exchange program where we will sometimes send them some cold water species and they will send us down some warm water species.
Are there any species of eel living near our coast?
I think most of the eels come down as far as about East London in the warmer waters.
Okay, I see.
But again, I don't think we have any local species of
Okay,
eels.
they
Not that
prefer-
I've seen out there.
Okay, so they prefer like warm waters.
Yeah, they're
instead.
generally more a tropical sort of species.
Okay, how
Tropical
cool.
to subtropical.
Okay, really cool. Well, make sure that you come down to the Two Oceans Aquarium and try and spot all the eels that we've mentioned in this video. If you can, make sure to leave a comment on our Facebook page. And we'll see you again next week for more Aquarium Monday, only on Radio 786.
This has been Aquarium Monday.